Welcome everyone. This is Yuriy Zabrovarnyy, and today I would like to talk about UMA, which is part of OX Platform. Actually, we have a complete implementation of UMA on the OX Platform, which is completely open source. So let's start demo itself. Okay, so first of all, the typical scenario is that there is a resource server, and that resource server contains hosts resources, and typically it's some web services, and idea is to keep that web services secure and at the same time keep very good granular control on who can access it and under which circumstances. So in this scenario, typically we have different parties. So we have a resource server who hosts resources. Then we have a requesting party who access resources and request access to them. Then we have authorization server who which is policy decision point. And we have resource owner who manage and control both resource server and authorization server. So let's take a look more detail into it. So first of all, to enable such scenario with UMA, it's required to have different tokens, and such tokens are required by different parties. So in order to request protection IP of authorization server, the PAT token is required. For authorization IP, AAT token is required, and for resources, RPT token is required. So let's take a look in more detail into it. So first of all, in order to prerequisite to UMA workflow is obtaining of these tokens. So first of all, resource server must obtain a PAT token. Then requesting party must obtain AAT token. Of course, in order to before workflow starts, resources must be protected, and to protect them, resource server protect them. We are registering resources at protection IP of authorization server, and the actual protection is made via policy. So on OX Platform, it's implemented via GUI, where you can set whatever policy you want. It is pretty granular, and we have it's implemented via Python script, where you can express whatever policy you want. So let's start. First, requesting party may request resources without any RPT. Of course, such request will be denied with error that RPT is not present. It's step 4. After that, requesting party, of course, doesn't have any choice than request that RPT. Authorization server will return RPT directly. The only requirements here is to present AAT to access authorization IP. Requesting party may request resources with that RPT, and of course, such request will be denied because that RPT doesn't contain is not authorized and doesn't contain required permission. So here, when such resources are requested with RPT, it's not enough just deny such request. Resource server do very smart thing here. It register permissions for that the resources, because resource server knows exactly what is required in order to which scopes must be satisfied in order to satisfy this request. So it registers permissions, and at back it gets authorization server returns permission ticket. So when resource server deny such request with RPT that doesn't have enough permissions, it also present permission ticket. So a requesting party now have a ticket, permission ticket, and it requests authorization with that ticket. Authorization server takes RPT, takes ticket, and we have by that ticket it takes permissions that was registered by resource server and checks which scopes needs to be satisfied. And by that scopes, it takes policies that was set by resource owner in order to protect that resources. So it just grabs all policies and check one by one whether all policies are okay with that request. And if all policies are okay, then such RPT is authorized. Or it's not authorized if policies are not okay. So if okay, authorization RPT is authorized, and response notifies requesting party about that. And finally, requesting party can call resources with already authorized RPT, and of course such a request will return resources. So that's how complete workflow looks like. Yeah. So such workflow may look very complex at the very beginning, but when you understand it, it looks more simpler and simpler to you, and yeah, pretty smart and granular. So on Gluu OX Platform, to somehow simplify and to show how all parties looks like, it was decided to implement sample requesting party and resource server. So here you may check this. It is open source, so you can directly access to take sources and build them and deploy on your application container. It's under Maven, so it's very easy to build it and deploy. Of course, before you deploy, the only thing you need to configure you need to configure it according to your to your environment. So here is typical configuration, how it looks like. I will not dive into it in detail, because there is another demo where you can check it. So okay, so with OX Platform you have complete stack. So you have OX server, which is authorization server, and it supports complete implementation of UMA. You have sample resource server, and you have sample RP. So I have them here online, and we can check them side by side. So here is logs of resource server and requesting party. So I will hit this demo button and it will do magic. Here we can see what it will do. It will call resource server without RPT, then it will call with RPT, but which is not authorized. Then it will try to authorize RPT with ticket, and then finally call a resource server with authorized RPT. So let's try to hit it. Okay, and what we got some problem, and probably because our state is not, I have cached a cookie, and that's why, I have to, I will re-clear it, but I need to re-log in. So idea is when you typically log in to user logins to your requesting party, you need to authenticate it, and authentication is made via authorization server, of course. So I'm trying to log in to it. So now I'm logged in. Let's clear state again. So it's there is no any magic. Here you can see exactly what does that button do. It just clear state of and prepares it to demo. And let's try to click demo again. And here we are by logs. You can check each single step and what actually the requesting party do, and you will see that it goes via complete workflow that we just discussed, and finally it got result resources from resource server. At the same time, you can always go to resource server and check logs of that resource server and see what exactly resource server do. So I think with sample resource server, sample requesting party, you can see how everything plays together. Yeah. So finally, here is links. First is the actual wiki link about presentation that I've just shown. Then there is another demo that shows technical part of sample requesting party and resource server. Then there is links where you can always check live both RP and RS. Of course, you can also find links to sources of everything on the first link. And finally, you can always, if you have any questions, problems, or whatever, you can always schedule demo. Yeah. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you.